Hello, welcome back, I guess. It has been a little while since I posted on this channel. Sorry. Also, voice reveal, if you may question that. Now, let's get on with something serious. So, disclaimers, serious disclaimers. There's be a mention of suicide. And also, again, do not harass anyone mentioned in this video at any costs. Although I may have some problems with how they handle this issue, I still don't want anyone to harass them. So let's continue. So episode 15 was released of Cooker & Kingdom. Although it was devastating with the death of one of my all-time favorites, White Lily Cookie, I actually enjoyed this episode. Although not my favorite, I still really enjoyed it. I can't call it a bad episode. Anyone who has criticisms with it is valid. I can understand you, because it's still a story. It's open to critique. However, there are sometimes opinions that I just look at and I can't understand at all. One of them being that some people saying that White Lily's death was like a message that suicide was the only thing, that suicide was the truth, or ending life is the true freedom. I'm questioning that a lot, because just because she died doesn't mean and she accepted that, doesn't mean she's pro-suicide. A Twitter post even said that, I think the only thing back that's supposed to put a pro-suicide message in their game, but also a fact that they put pro-suicide message in the game made for kids. Is this one? Okay. Cooker & Kingdom it is kids friendly to some extent, but at one point we actually kind of accepted it was kid friendly. Premonition of Doom was something unique. It shouldn't be kids friendly. No kid shall ever see that of religious corruption. But that's not what I'm specifically talking about. We're talking about a little bit more serious topic. Apparently on a Twitter post on March 15, 2026, apparently I couldn't find the name. Apparently this post was deleted for some reason, because I saw some of the posts actually related to it. I couldn't. Apparently the Twitter post never didn't exist anymore, but a screenshot I found was basically about an account saying episode 15, so my cousin actually killed herself, or herself, apparently. Apparently that person had multiple health struggles, which caused them to, and after watching White Lily Cookies and dies, they decided to end their life. It is unfortunate. Although the account is apparently a parody account, so that kind of does not legitimize its confirmation, I am still giving my condolences and my heart goes out to the person's loved ones because of that, if it's actually true. Because I'm still not sure about any of this. Since that Twitter post never doesn't exist anymore. But apparently multiple accounts have recited that as saying that Cooker, because of that, multiple people on Twitter are saying that this means this game is pro-suicidal for some reason. And White Lily was suicidal from the whole game. Are we in the same chapter? Because there's a post made by someone saying that, and people even harassing Death Sisters themselves because of this. A Twitter posted, quote, "A minor killed herself because of the disgusting message of freedom in your story, and you aren't going to address it and instead advertise your stupid dev now." I don't know. Censored dev now. And after that, and the entire account says Sourberry or Benlowberry started to say multiple things, say that you should address the stepsisters. It was this ending is horrible. Kept retweeting posts saying that while Lily was suicidal from the beginning. It was what they should have addressed this as a tragic loss instead of a great sacrifice. I'm looking at all of these people who are blaming Death Sisters or White Lily's character at this. I'm just seriously cannot see this message at all in the story. I cannot look at the story that way. I cannot look at White Lily that way. And trust me, I have seen the episodes. I remember almost everything about this. I got some of the messages. For first, some of the posts Benlowberry reposted were basically showing multiple posts of the multiple dialogues of White Lily, saying stuff like, I am beyond forgiveness, from episode 8 of Crispia, saying she's beyond forgiveness and you need to break this and with it to me. Even if my life is a price, it will be a worthy sacrifice, from episode 1 of during her departure to the Bitches Banquet, showing pictures of her after saying that after I fell into ultimate dough, she wished she had crumbled instead, and it is now my time to break free, as messages of her being pro-suicidal. And the entire episode 15 saying that episode 15 says that she's pro-suicidal, she knew that. I need to, let's look into these episodes ourselves. So in episode 8, after they defeated some of the enemies of the academy who basically corrupted, we see White Lily, who's apparently the Moonstone in the Moonstone, and basically that she's regretting this, and because of her regret, you need to break the Moonstone with me, so you can end all of this. And before you say that White Lily was that, oh, it was White Lily who actually said that, let's remember that Ginger Brave actually told White Lily that she used you and she tricked us. He knows himself that she tricked them into this. And even though you could sound like the argument, they're the same person, they have the same memories, and how she remembers this, they both hold the same memory at some points, at multiple points in the story, are still separate entities at this point. Next up, the image of her, if my life is the price, it will be a worthy sacrifice, from one of her short memories in BC's episode 1. Thought this whole dialogue after Elder Fairy warning her, in this monologue of her basically talking about if my life is the price, it will be a worthy sacrifice. She said, first of all, if she isn't sure that she might die, she isn't sure that her life would be if she goes to the witch's banquet, but she doesn't care. But she does see that matters, because just as Zida, she will do this thing because in the previous model she talked about how she's doing this that this path might ensure peace for Cookie Kind. This might bring them more peace because we'll do good Cookie Kind. And then she says, if my life is a price, she is not sure. She doesn't have problems with her life being at stake, because a visit to the witch's banquet might bring something good to the cookies. And this is basically the same mindset several activists or reporters or people might have when they witness something bad by people, and they know if they interfere or try to stop him or spread awareness about that corruption, their life might be at stake, they might die, Their reputation will be ruined, but they don't care because they know that this will help other people who have suffered from them. And you won't call them suicidal for just dying if that happens. You call them heroes for standing up to that evil corruption. You will call them, you will know them for their sacrifice, the fact that they stood up to all of this bad things because to ensure better things for other people. And you can see that dialogue in another section dialogue that was mentioned in this post of basically her saying, even if it ruins me. Just before that, she was talking that she will stop Dark Enchantress. She will stop her vicious forces and corruption. Even if it ruins her, she doesn't care about the outcome for herself, because she is sure that this might have an outcome for others. You can't just say White Lily is pro-suicidal just because she accepts that this might have an outcome on her life. And Dark Enchantress episode 15 Beyond the Horizon kept telling her that, hey, you are a part of me, you cannot exist without me. Yet she tells her that that I know and I don't care. I will, if this if this stops your evil doings, I will do it. Even if she might not see what this might cause, what she wants to, even if she might not live to see what Cookie Kind will have after this, she knows that she knows that she will stop her from treating Cookie lives. She will stop Dark Enchantress, cause her to die. She will do this just for the Cookie Kind. In the prologue of the plan of her basically deciding to enter the rift of the Holy Avatar, Metal kept telling her that, hey, if you enter the rift, you'll not come back. But she tells him that, hey, if this is the only way I can stop Dark Enchantress forever, because I know what this Avatar of Destiny will do to Dark Enchantress. The Avatar of Destiny decides to attack the Dark Enchantress and kill her because she's a witch, and Avatar of Destiny hates witches. So she knows that this might have a bad outcome for her, but she doesn't care. Everyone keeps warning her that, hey, you will die, but she doesn't have problems with it as long as it does good after she tries to help other cookies. And then you look at all of that and say she's pro-suicidal? No, she's not. All of these things she's done was for good of Cookie Kind, and all of that time she was basically in deep mourning or sad, not because she wants to end her life. She was basically feeling guilty about being Dark Enchantress and causing all of the ruining Dark Flower War and all of the deaths of these crumbling of all of these innocent cookies for Dark Enchantress's selfish plans. She feels regret because she's technically a soul of her. Because Dark Enchantress is still technically a soul of her. She doesn't fight free. And just because the line of her basically saying it's my time to break free doesn't mean that just because she died, she has found true freedom. No, just because it means that she will have done her goals, she has saved Cookie Kind for Dark Enchantress, and that the cookie world will hopefully just live in peace. She has done her atonement to save Cookie Kind and to hopefully end what Dark Enchantress has begun. You can't call that pro-suicidal. You can't say that is pro-suicidal, can you, huh? People are basically blaming Deathsys for causing that person to end their lives. Person basically blaming Death Sisters. What does Death Sisters have to do with the person ended their life because of the story? You cannot blame Death Sisters for someone's mindset because of the characters they gave. You cannot blame the writing of interpreting. You cannot force Death Sisters into addressing an action of an individual person because they did something bad. because it's somehow related to the story they created. They don't need to take responsibility because they had nothing to do with what the person thought of the story, what they thought of the message of the story was. Basically, just because you saw it as suicidal doesn't mean everyone else thought White Lily was suicidal. It doesn't give the right to basically shame the sisters for the actions of that person. And basically saying that, hey, they still have irresponsibility suicide. This isn't suicide. This isn't suicide. White Lily's actions was never meant to be suicidal, or she wants to end her life. If that was the case, she would just end herself right now. But no, she wants to do what's right for Cookie Kind, to do what's right for Cookie Kind. She doesn't care about the outcome on herself, because she knows that this might bring good to them. They didn't show her to be happy because she's dying. They show her to be happy because she has found they are showing her to be happy because she has broke that burden from her of ending Dark Enchantress's demise, and to bring peace. To bring peace for Cookie World once again. She just, not because she dies. It's just some things that will happen. And just because she accepts it doesn't mean she's happy about it. She wanted to just live with them, but she knows that this might not happen. And since that might not happen, she just decides to, you know what? I'm fine. As long as I did good for Cookie Kind. She does not take that choice herself. She just accepts that this will be the outcome of her saving Cookie World. You don't need all of this, and you still blame Death Sisters. No, Death Sisters is not to blame. Death Sisters doesn't need to address this. Death Sisters doesn't need to hold responsibility for that person, even if they died. And this is not making fun of them. My heart goes out to them, to that person, and their loved ones, if that was true, but that doesn't mean I need to blame someone for this, to blame a gaming company for this, because apparently that's what convinced them. You have multiple stories of people basically ending their lives because apparently their favorite character dies. Do I need to, the company behind this media that caused the person to end their lives need to always address that person killed themselves? That the person died because of them? No, because they aren't to blame. This is like you're like those people who blame video games publishers for basically having their kid become violent. No, the company isn't to blame for the kid becoming violent. She shouldn't be the one to blame because someone interpreted their message wrong, or basically have done bad things because of their games. Defsis isn't to blame for a certain individual's actions because they were interpreted, because they interpreted their message as like, oh, sacrifice will give you freedom. It wasn't their intention. It didn't look like their intended message. This person actually handled it. If you are basically blaming Death Sisters or calling out people, or basically you actually blaming and you actually hating on people just because they are correcting you that no, White Lily isn't suicidal, you're an idiot, because that was probably never the interpretation that White Lily had. This doesn't even show in the episodes. This doesn't even show in the story. She was just never suicidal. Just because she smiles at pure vanilla in her last moments doesn't make her that she's happy that she's dying. That doesn't make her that doesn't send the message that, hey, you can get freedom by ending your life. It was never the moment. You are interpreting it wrong. You are interpreting it wrong. That's all. I really hope that you at least get my point of view on this topic. That you can get at least the issues of this that you can at least get some clarity of some of the dialogues and storylines that happen in the story. Storylines that happened in the Concurrent Kingdom that led to this. Again, do not harass anyone that was mentioned or I called out in this video, although I might have something bad although I might have some disagreement with them, doesn't mean they deserve that to be harassed or basically threatened or basically being cursed. No, but they do need to. But at least I do hope they reflect on that. They are blaming they're blaming the wrong people. Shouldn't be blaming anyone, and they shouldn't be angry at people for correcting them of their actions. That's all.